Hello and welcome to the Lorna Marie Fitness Podcast, the show where we talk all things fitness, health, mindset and lifestyle to help you become fitter, healthier and happier. I help busy people who lack time, motivation and self-belief to look and feel great again. If you want to work with me, head over to lornamariefitness.co.uk, but for now, enjoy this episode. Hi everyone and welcome back to the podcast. You've got a solo episode today. It's me. Now, today I want to talk about motivation in the summer. Why do we lose motivation in the summer? The summer's often seen as the perfect time to get fit because there's longer days, there's sunnier weather, and maybe a bit of extra motivation to get yourself beach body ready. But ironically, many of us find ourselves slacking off, skipping workouts, and feeling less motivated to actually stick to our fitness goals. So what's actually going on here? Because we don't want to go back in September and feel completely out of routine, really sluggish, like we've put on weight. The average person actually puts on 3 to 5 pounds over summer, and they go back in September feeling like they need to do something drastic before Christmas, before all the Christmas parties. So how can we stop that from happening? And how can we actually stay motivated over the summer, even if our routine is completely out the window? You know, maybe the kids are off, or maybe you're going on lots of different holidays or breaks and you're going to be doing different things. So your normal routine isn't there. So we're going to explore the reasons why this happens and share some practical tips on how you can keep your fitness game strong over the summer too. Let's start with this summer slump. So start by understanding what we actually mean by a summer motivation slump. It's that feeling when, despite the beautiful weather outside, you just can't seem to get yourself to do your online classes, or you just can't seem to lace up your running shoes or drag yourself to a gym. So why does this actually happen? What is going on here? Now, one of the first factors, and in the UK right now, this is a real thing. We've got a heat wave at the moment, but it's the heat. And one of the biggest culprits is the fact that it is a bit hot. Exercising in hot weather can be quite physically taxing, and your body is having to work harder to cool itself down. So you get exhausted faster, you get dehydrated, and sometimes even feel a little bit lightheaded or dizzy. So it's no wonder we feel a bit less inclined to push ourselves during summer. And also, sleep might have an effect here. The warmer nights can disrupt your sleep, but also maybe you're staying up later, maybe you're doing different things. It's light late on, isn't it? It's quite nice in a way. We did our dog walk the other night at 8:30 in the evening, and I would never normally do the second dog walk that late, but it was just such a hot day that we needed to wait for it to cool down, and it was still really light and just really nice. But then everything gets pushed back, and then you end up going to bed later, and the next morning you can feel really tired and groggy, and that morning workout just feels a little bit less appealing. But it's essential. We'll come back to that in a minute. Also, you've got that routine disruption. So summer often means lots of holidays or little breaks, different social events, and just a break from the usual routine, particularly if you've got kids and the kids are off work. Now, while this is really fun, it can really throw you off your workout schedule and your normal routine. And once routine is broken, it can feel initially quite hard to get back on track. And the key is routine. When you get into routine with something, it becomes a habit, and then you don't actually even have to think about it anymore because it's just something you just do. So say, for example, 6:30 workouts. You do them every single day, get into a good routine. It becomes a habit. And then all of a sudden, you don't even have to think about it. You don't have to use any energy thinking about it because that is just what you do. You just get up, you do your 6:30 workout, and you're done for the day. It's part of you, part of your identity. But sometimes when we have a routine disruption, that can get thrown literally out the window. And we'll come back to that too, because there's things that you can do if that is you. There's also a bit of a psychological aspect. So summer is often associated with taking it easy and relaxing. And that shift in the mindset can often make people think that it's okay to skip a workout or indulge in less healthy foods because it's summer, isn't it? The sun's out. It's summer. You've got to be enjoying yourself. You've got to be relaxing. You know, Monday night, yeah, let's have some wine in the sunshine. And yeah, it can be often associated with just basically easing off and not being in good, healthy habits and routines. Now, one other thing, it can actually affect your mood a little bit as well. And maybe, I've definitely felt this a few times. A lot of daylight and heat can lead to feeling quite irritable sometimes. If you're really, really hot and bothered, and then you haven't been sleeping for a while because the bedroom's really hot at night and it disrupts your sleep, then that can also have a real big effect on your mood. You can feel irritable, you can feel lethargic, and you can really lack motivation, and that can also impact your fitness routine as well. And for some people, it could even, like excess daylight and heat, it can actually lead to feelings of anxiety. So that is a real thing. And it's like the reverse SAD, so seasonal affective disorder, that most people experience in the winter. It's kind of, some people really experience the reverse in summer. Now, the impacts of light exposure can be another one. So interestingly, too much sunlight can actually be quite overwhelming for people, and it can disrupt your circadian rhythm, and that can lead to fatigue or even burnout. So it can make it hard to stick to regular workouts. Like, I personally haven't experienced that before, or the anxiety with the reverse SAD, but I definitely, the way that I can resonate here is if you're not getting much sleep because it is really hot and it is really light, you definitely do feel sometimes a bit lethargic and like you have no energy, and maybe some days a little bit irritable. And I just think of an example here where I've been on holiday before, and when you're just really hot and you're at that point where you're just about to break out into a sweat and you're feeling like a little bit prickly, like a prickly heat. And then and then Will's tried to hold my hand and I'm like, no, don't hold my hand. I'm like on the verge of sweating. But it's true, isn't it? We can feel that way. And that can have an effect on your mood, which in turn affects your motivation. Anyway, let's talk about some practical tips to help you stay motivated. I think if you can possibly stick with your current routine, then do it. And if you're on holiday, if you go away on holiday, I've got a whole different podcast for that. Definitely have a look at that. It's called The Ultimate Holiday Guide. And that's a little bit different. Like, when you go on holiday, it's completely up to you what you want to do. And depending on how long the holiday is and what your current goals are, you might need to adjust things. Personally, I like to do a little bit, but I definitely pull back loads. But I like to do something because it just makes me feel good. And when I get back, I don't feel in a place where I feel like I put loads of weight on and really bloated and really like I have no energy and just annoyed. I just come back and normal routine resumes. And that is the key, by the way. As soon as you get back, straight away, just get yourself back into normal routine, and don't weigh yourself for 5 to 7 days because it won't give you an accurate measurement because of water retention from travel, eating different foods, digestion. So anyway, but definitely go and have a look at that. But what you can do is just think about adjusting your routine to suit the summer climate as well. So if you feel like you are out of routine because of the heat, then exercise early morning or late evening. And you can also pull back, like you're allowed to dial back on the intensity a little bit, depending on how you feel. Maybe even take your online workouts outside. That can be something you could do. Or get a fan in your room, or a towel that is really cold. You can wet a towel and you could wrap it in some ice or something and just have that nearby. And of course, lots of water nearby too. But you could definitely do that, or even shorter workouts. But keep a good routine with your fitness over the summer months. And that might be if you normally do, say, 5 workouts a week or 4 workouts a week, but the kids are off and it's really difficult to fit that time in. One, you need to make sure that you are priority, you are number one. How can we expect to show up for everybody else and do everything for everything and everyone else if we're not looking after ourselves? So, first of all, turn down the dial on the mum guilt and turn it up on focusing on you. And then what I would say is just adjust. It might be the fact, like over the summer, maybe you do 3 workouts a week instead of 5, but you're still being consistent. So get them done. And maybe get them done first thing before it's too hot, and also before anybody needs you for the rest of the day. Fill up your cup at the start of the day. Get that time in, get that workout in for you. Now, hydration is key. Make sure you get one of those big water bottles. So I've got one where it's got like the litres up the side and you can see how much you've actually been drinking. Make sure you drink plenty of water, and that's really important for your overall health and also your energy levels. So before, during and after exercise, just have water with you wherever you go. And set some realistic goals. So instead of aiming for PBs over the summer, focus on actually maintaining your fitness level. So maybe you want to set smaller, more achievable goals that just align more with your summer lifestyle. So like I said before, it could be anything from committing to 3 workouts a week to, instead of doing your normal, say for example, we do 20-minute, half an hour workouts, and some squaddies do bolt-ons to those as well. Maybe over the summer, you just reduce those a little bit. So you're going to go, okay, I'm going to do Monday to Friday. I'm still going to work out every day, but I'm just going to do 20 minutes or just 10 minutes, whatever is realistic. Or maybe if it's really hot, you might have a focus more on flexibility and mobility as opposed to HIIT workouts, for example. Now, summer is a really good time to try different things to your normal routine as well. So it might be a time to actually try something like paddleboarding or outdoor swimming or doing something completely different, like going hiking at the weekends. So just different things that you can do. And that will keep you active and probably be really enjoyable too. Find something that you enjoy. That's key. And then mindful eating and hydration. We've spoken about hydration already, but mindful eating here, I think it really comes hand in hand with how you feel over summer and how you go back in September. And it's not about depriving yourself of anything, because we all know human psychology. We all know that if you say, you cannot have that, I shouldn't have that, that's bad, that ends up being the thing that we want. And anyway, it's not actually healthy to completely cut anything out. So having that balanced approach and having a little bit of what you want, it's okay to indulge. It's great to indulge. It's part of a healthy, balanced lifestyle and just a healthy balance in general. But make sure you're mainly focusing on getting lean proteins in, plenty of fresh fruit and vegetables, and just making sure you're staying super hydrated. And if you're sweating a lot, maybe popping some electrolytes in there too. But this is going to be key. And when you do go out to barbecues or you have ice cream or cocktails, just think about taking your time, actually tasting them and actually savouring them. And think about when you're actually full. And one little tip here is if you're away on holiday and you're going out for, I don't know, maybe every meal, you know, if you're staying in like an all-inclusive or something, you're going to be eating out technically for every meal. Choose one thing a day where you're just going to have that indulgence. So for example, if you're going out for dinner in the evening and it's a case of, or you could do this per meal even. So let's say you go out for lunch and you go out for dinner. You've got a choice of having the side of fries, the pudding and the wine. Choose one of them. Choose one of them to have, and then make the rest of your meal just super nutrient dense, and you'll feel good for it. Now, it's important to recognise that summer might not be the time for rigorous training or super strict dieting, and that's okay. So you can focus on balance and flexibility in both your workouts and your mindset, and just embrace the season for what it is, allowing yourself to enjoy it without feeling any guilt, but also making sure that you are looking after you. Motivation comes and goes in waves. So if you're feeling a little bit less driven, it may even be a time when your body's saying, I just need to slow down and recharge a little bit. And that might be a time to focus on self-care, on relaxation, and just pulling back a little bit, whether that be the duration of your workouts or the type of workout you do or the number of workouts you do. But definitely do stay in some sort of routine over the summer the best you possibly can. And that might be, say if you're going away a lot, it might be like, okay, I am going to commit to 3 workouts a week. And if you're on holiday, it might be swimming in the pool, or it might be an online workout in the hotel room for 20 minutes. And we've actually got a holiday area as well, where you've got workouts you can pre-download to take with you if you haven't got Wi-Fi, and just a little holiday guide. Ultimately, that's completely up to you. But I would say overall, the overall picture of summer, just make sure that you're doing something to keep on at it at your health and fitness. So when you get to September, it's not an ultimate shock or you feel like you're in a worse place than at the start of summer. And this is one of the reasons I did the plank challenge over August. so that everyone gets to the end of August and feel like they've achieved something and they've got a stronger core than when they started. So actually going into September being stronger, as opposed to feeling completely out of sorts and completely like they haven't been doing anything. It's just about the small wins, isn't it? But also don't rely on motivation, because motivation does come and go in waves, and it comes and goes in waves for every single human being. And this is where we have to rely on getting into routine with things. And your routine over summer is allowed to look different. It's allowed to be flexible. We're allowed to pull back, but it's important to have some sort of routine, even if that is committing to 3 workouts, planning your journal on Sunday, 3 workouts, and it's a different time every week. It's a different type of workout. Whatever it is, just commit to that for you. Losing motivation in summer is more common than you think, and there are legitimate reasons behind it, of course. But just with a few small adjustments and a really healthy, balanced mindset, you can stay on track with your fitness goals while still enjoying your summer to the fullest. Now, I really hope you've enjoyed this episode. I hope it's given you a little bit of food for thought. And if you are going on holiday and you're not sure about what to do when you go away, definitely check out the Ultimate Holiday Guide episode that I did. That one is useful. And if you have enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to subscribe and share it or leave us a review. And always, please feel free to reach out with any questions or maybe even any topics you'd like us to cover in the future. And then until the next time, stay healthy, stay active, and get yourself into a good, even if it is different, routine. I'll see you soon.